Hey everybody, I'm your host Kai, and in today's video we're going to jump into the Reddit Sappho and her friend. So let's just jump right into that video. So it says, not under a video on Sailor Uranus and Neptune, because that's actually how you pronounce it, by the way, is not Uranus, you pronounce it Uranus. But anyways, so it's got a picture of, those two characters from Sailor Moon, and someone's like, between these two there is no homosexual love, no heterosexual love, it's just pure love. Tell me you haven't seen like the Japanese subtitle version where it had the English subtitles, but it was the Japanese vocals. Tell me you haven't seen it or even watched it, because I actually grew up with Sailor Moon. Watching Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was actually the first anime that I was exposed to. Well, that and heavy metal, which I probably shouldn't have watched as a kid. Like in my teen years when I watched, Heavy Metal 2000, that was perfectly okay because I was a teenager, I guess. But as a kid, I probably should definitely have not watched the 1981 American anime Heavy Metal at all. That was probably not appropriate for me. But anyways, Sailor Moon is actually one that I grew up with. Sailor Moon, Pokemon, and Digimon when I was a kid. And the thing is yeah, I actually later on watched the original version, and yeah, Sailor Uranus and Neptune are in a relationship together. They are, yeah, there is homosexual love. So like, it's one of those examples of, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, they're just friends, really close friends. So this person posted in Sappho and her friend, and they're like, I'm reading Dante's Divine Comedy, and it's baffling how uneasy the footnotes are about mentioning possible gay implications. There's a bit where Dante meets the penitent soul in purgatory of a guy he knew alive, and obliquely refers to what you've been to me and I to you. In a verse that applies the relationship included something frowned upon. Yeah, I've read Dante's Divine Comedy, and yeah, the footnotes across several editions dance around what could be referred to, suggesting possibilities like drunken carousing together or writing dirty poems. It makes me want to scream, maybe they boned. If anyone wants the receipts for the theory that the Divine Comedy is Dante's working through his anxieties around his own feelings of same-sex attraction, just let me know. I've got tons of highlights on my e-reader and a yearning to procrastinate. You know what? I'm pretty sure your footnotes are correct. Like, that's how I always took it, that it was actually Dante working around his anxieties and his own feelings of same-sex attraction. And with the penitent soul in purgatory in that particular scene, when he says, what you have been to me and I to you. Like, that seems like they're more than just friends. They're like, no, they were just friends. They served together and whatnot. Yeah, that's all that's going on. So this is on a YouTube video, right? And the comment section goes, I've been a fan of both of you, separately for a few years, and was happy when you joined Gabe's salon in San Diego. I didn't realize you guys were a couple. Your casual revelation brought a smile to my face. You're both immensely talented and so deserving of your success. The person's like, I don't think they're a couple. I think he means my friend. And then the one person's like, they kissed at the end, mate. He literally calls him his boyfriend. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. This person's like, oh yeah, they're just friends. Dude, my dude. Apparently in the video that you're commenting on, they were literally, kissing at the end and not like a friendly kiss. It's like, no. It was a friendly kiss. It was that Soviet kiss. Yeah, they were Soviet brothers. The naivety, I really am bad with things. Is it the naivety? Then being naive, right? With this particular person, it's like, yeah, they were just friends. Yeah, everybody kisses their mates like that, right? All right. So this person cross-posted, whatever it's called on Reddit, right? And it's like, they were just friends, and they cross-posted from Buy in Real Life, and it was a screenshot of this tweet. And this person, the first part of the tweet, like before they retweeted it, the person was like, Freddie Mercury having a sleepover with some close friends, 1980s. Time capsule tales. Close friends. yeah, they were close friends in like the Roman sense. Interesting fact about Roman soldiers is that in order to supposedly to make sure that they would be willing to die for each other, there was a lot of gay sex going on and whatnot, and they would actually literally go, woo, with the whistle, if you get what I'm saying. And yeah, they would blow on that whistle, baby, like that song says. And that way they knew they were willing to die because it created this bond and whatnot. But yeah, Time Capsule Tales, this is just Freddie Mercury having a sleepover with just some close friends. They're just buddies. Everybody has a little naked sleep party with their buddies. I like what this person said, the Lego My Mago. It said he had a type and it was himself. You gotta respect it. And oh my god, I didn't notice that. But yeah, all those people, his friends, all look like him. Freddie Mercury apparently had a type, and it was himself. I don't know if it was himself, because I think the actor that played Lionel Luthor in Smallville, also he was the guy that, John Glover, he was also the guy that played, in Batman and Robin, he was the one that created Poison Ivy by pushing her into the thing. But anyways, apparently back in the day, he actually slept with Freddie Mercury, or he was friends, or they were in a relationship. But yeah, he claimed that he bonchakawamo with Freddie Mercury before, he was in a serious relationship and, married his significant other. So, yeah. John Glover actually apparently had a thing with Freddie Mercury and whatnot. Just thought y'all would find that funny. But I like how Time Capsule Tales is like, Freddie Mercury having a sleepover with some close friends. Oh, sweetie, how to explain this to you? They're more than just close friends. So it's from this Reddit. It's a screenshot from a Reddit called Wholesome Yuri. And the person goes, I've always wanted to know what it would feel like to come home to someone, eat a meal together, cuddle up while we watch a movie. It's comfy as I'd hope it'd be. And then this one person commented, I've not read the comic, but what's posted here makes me think that maybe the girl with the purple hair just wants to be friends and isn't really on board with this whole Yuri thing. My dude, the person that does this particular comic, I believe, and I don't know if the person mentioned it, but yeah, the person that wrote that comic, that person with the purple hair is supposed to be in a relationship with her. Let me see if the person says it. But yeah, the thing is no, they're not just friends. It's like, they're just friends. They're just roommates. Because, that's my takeaway from it. But let me see if it says so in the comics. Oh, so someone's like, for context, the purple girl literally asked the blonde one to marry her. So see, she literally asked to marry her. And someone goes, no, but that doesn't mean she's down for the Yuri thing. Yeah, it's just a chill marriage between gal pals, for sure. Yeah, they're married, but just as friends, right? They're getting married to make their roommate status official. Oh my god, they were legally bound roommates. What's the opposite of a lavender marriage? Oh, that's just gay marriage. Yeah, it's that then. For tax evasion purposes, she actually proposed before she moved in with her. They were married friends in a non-Yuri way. It's called tax fraud, sweetie. I didn't know tax fraud required such physical exertion. It does when the IRS starts sending agents. You don't have to be faster than the IRS agents. You just have to be faster than your embezzling neighbor. Someone's like, she did that before even asking her name. The first chapters do show her being hesitant because she was hasty. Sometimes you see someone who steals your breath, makes your heart skip, and gives you butterflies in your stomach at first sight, and you just want to be roommates one day. That's all. Just roommates. And someone's like, okay, this is hilarious. In this single strip, she looks very skeptical and annoyed, but with more context, obviously she's not. So for the context, there are more than just friends. But I love the comments on this post. It was funny.
These two were probably the most legendary girl besties in Chinese history. One
Girl besties. I'm already gonna doubt, my dude, that they were just besties, but we'll continue watching your video you hear.
Was Shangguan Wan'er, a top official under the female emperor Wu Zetian, and the other was Wu Zetian's daughter, Princess Taiping. They were around the same age and both strong players in politics. History books didn't mention them as friends, and they were even on opposite political sides.
Okay, just because that's actually a perfect definition of they were just roommates. Because just because it says in history books, my dude, that they were just friends, doesn't mean they were just friends. Because historians usually write from a historical perspective that it is usually typically heterosexual monogamy kind of situation.
After Wu Zetian lost power, Shangguan Wan'er helped her nephew rise to power, while Princess Taiping supported the traditional Li family. Later, there was a coup and Wan'er was killed. Their connection didn't come to until 2013, when Wang's tombstone was found, and it turned out Princess Taiping had written the entire inscription for her. She said she was heartbroken and ended with the line 千年万岁,娇花送生, meaning, even after 1,000 years, I hope someone still remembers you like I do.
Yeah, they were just friends, even though she says, I hope someone still remembers you like I do. I really? Really, my dude? Yeah, they were just friends. I'm hoping you're being sarcastic.
It wasn't until then that people realized history books were always written by men. Now, in Chinese, there's a phrase 晚平之交 to talk about the greatest female friendship, with 婉 being 上官婉儿 and 平 being Princess.
小红书
My dude. He was being serious. Oh my god. I mean, it goes to show that no matter what culture it is, they're writing it from a male heterosexual point of view, and they're not going to admit that they were more than just friends. So, I mean, it goes to show that not just in American history or European history, but even in Asian history, they're still going to say, yeah, they were just friends. But that description that she wrote, that I hope people still remember you as I do in 1,000 years. Dude, they were more than just rivals. So the person posted this in Photoshop request, and it's two people that are marrying each other. And it goes, our puppy fell asleep on my dress during our wedding. I would love an artistic edit on the photo. Painting or digital art. Will pay money for the best work, right? And then the other person goes, hey, sorry, but for the moment to stand out, I removed your bridesmaid. That's not her bridesmaid, honey. The cars to focus on the subject. Additionally, I didn't run much of a filter rather than edit in Lightroom. Let me know what you think. P.S. If you can provide a reference of style, I can convert into that too. Oh my god, you removed the bride's bride. That that was just her bridesmaid. Nothing serious going on there. Friend, let me say this to you. She wanted the puppy removed, not her bride that she was marrying. That's just my bridesmaid, you know. We're just besties, you know, just gal pals getting married. Are you freaking kidding me? So the person that posted this in a museum Reddit is like, Louis Leopold Boly's two friends kissing, 1793. Two friends kissing? Everyone kisses their gal pals like that, right? Everybody kisses their friends like that. Are you kidding me? Have you looked at that painting? That's not just two friends kissing. There's more than that. Like, that's not what it is. And someone's like, funny enough, the friends thing came from the translation. The original title, De Jons Femmes Besmes, I may have pronounced that, would be better translated into two young women kissing. And someone's like, two girls can be friends and also be, I don't see why this should be disputed. Two girls can be friends and be also sexually romantic involved. I don't think they're defined as friends to imply that they're not kissing for real. Someone else is like, I did a bit more research, and while I've seen it as a reference, and it has the thing in French, I'm assuming, by a few sources, including a magazine specialized in art, the museum where it's displayed does indeed identify, and that has that French phrase. With that being said, it does not only translate to friend, it also can translate to lovers or mistress. It is dated use of the word now, but would be quite common in the 18th century. Considering that one of them is half naked, she does not appear to be wearing more than an undergarment. So, yeah, she's not half naked. She's wearing undergarment. And that embrace they're locked in does seem a bit more than friendly. The title was likely a play on word and actually meant it to be understood as two young lovers kissing. Wow, so the one person's like, oh, they're just friends. No, they're not just friends. Like, the person even says that this kind of thing, and if you look at the painting, let's scroll back up, right? If you look at that she is kissing her lover, not her friend. So this person shared this particular post in a Reddit, right? Because the person's like, who's going to tell her? And the original post was, My daughter got this matching tattoo today with her best friend. She said something about how they're both crafty and her best friend wants to be a hairstylist. But honestly, do any of you other moms know if there's a devil symbol or anything? I just want to protect my little girl from Satan. Hashtag WAP. Which at first I was like, wait, WAP? Well, why is she putting WAP? You know? And then I was, I was thinking, from that song by that particular artist that says you're messing with some, you guys know the song. And then I was told that that Christians think that the hashtag WAP means worship and praise. And anyways, the tattoo, as you can see from the screen, is a picture of two scissors scissoring. Your daughter and her friend might be crafty. And then after grafting, they might be doing something else. Yeah, that's... Nobody tell her. Nobody tell her that. Just let her... Just, yeah. Yeah, that's crafting. Your daughter and her friend are crafting. They're going to soon be crafting a blanket together that they can use. Yep. WAP means worship and praise. Yeah, keep telling yourselves that. Yep. Those scissors aren't doing anything. Oh my god. So this is a photo, right? And it's of Kirsten Stewart, the actress that played Bella. And someone goes, we finally figured out what makes Kirsten Stewart smile. Hot wings. The Twilight star posed for this amazing photo after dining at a Hooters restaurant in Texas recently. Yeah, I don't know who put this caption on the photo, but yeah, sure. Kirsten Stewart's wanting hot wings. That's exactly what she's looking at. Yeah, just Sappho and her hot wings. That's all. Kirsten Stewart's not looking at anything else. Are you that naive? Oh my god. Kirsten Stewart, if you don't know, does like women. But yeah, no, it's just the hot wings. That's what everybody goes to Hooters for. It's just the hot wings. They're so fucking tasty. So this person was like, my lesbian Sims turned into sisters. How can I change it back? And then, yeah, it did make them sisters. Yeah, you or whoever owns Sims at this point, you need to get onto that. That obviously this person's Sims were like lesbians. Why did you turn them into sisters? Like, oh no, they're not lovers, and they were sisters. You know how they have that hashtag, and they were roommates? Now there's a new hashtag, and they were sisters. So this one's like, when Marlon Brando died, his ashes were mixed with those of his close friend Wally Cox. Close friend. And the thing is I looked it up, and Google even is like doing erasure of the fact that that Marlon Brando was not straight. Like, you go to the Google search, and as you can see on the screen, why there are rumors and speculation about Marlon Brando's sexuality, there's no definite proof that he was homosexual. However, he did openly discuss his sexual experience with both men and women. My dude, Google, that means he wasn't straight. What do you mean there's just rumors and speculation, there's no definitive proof that that he would obviously at least be bi in this instance, even according to your own AI overview thing. But, like, even Google's like, no, there is no, like, definitive proof, even though he himself said that he had experiences sexual with both men and women. So I'm pretty sure this guy right here, his friend Wally, is not just his friend. It's literally lovers. I mean, come on, look at this. Are you freaking kidding me? I swear. So this originally was posted in a Reddit called Victorian Air, and it goes, and then our scene find. Alice Merriam put a ring to Grace Parker at Ballard Park, July 1899. Some kind of ceremony in a secret room. The suit is pretty tailored and fitted. Second photo in them is a pose close to newlyweds. Somebody's like, yeah, two friendly gals having some kind of ring ceremony in secret. And the second photo of them in a pose close to newlyweds, that's because they were newlyweds. Like, original poster, that means they were, if they were in a, I'm like, again, like, yeah, just gal pals. They're not, yeah, they're newlyweds, as in, they just wanted to marry each other. Some of the comment, someone's like, hey, it pointed out, yeah, newlyweds. Yeah, someone's like, that's the most outrageous part. Someone's like, even a few of the comments on the post are like, we don't know for sure. It might have just been a joke. Sure, we don't have marriage certificates, but that's likely because they couldn't exist. We don't have witnesses to accounts to cross-reference, but that's because everything had to be secretive, or they'd be hounded out of town and even locked up. We're not asking to drop the bar for evidence for historians to declare it a fact instead of a theory or rumor, but maybe the first assumption shouldn't be to dismiss it out of hand because it's not cishet. Acknowledge the lack of evidence, but also weigh it against that why there's usually such a lack of evidence. Comparatively few examples of queer people exist from these times, and there are fewer photos. Not as many could personally buy and operate photography equipment themselves, or have the skills and means to develop the film privately needed to produce these photos. It's still sad that they're automatically doubted at the frequency straight relationships just aren't. Yeah, I mean, they're like, oh, yeah, if you look at the second photo, they're in some kind of pose that's similar to newlyweds. Maybe because, Harold, they're actually newlyweds. And someone's like, yeah, I've seen them, sigh. A lot of people say that in Victorian times, joke marriages between straight women were a thing, despite lesbians existing. And I'd really like a source of this to know it was actually just a joke. You know, it seems like the usual typical sapphic dismissal erasure. And yeah, I agree with this. Like, if I mean, there's no historical evidence for this, but, you know, context matters. And then the context of the look of it, I'm pretty sure these particular two people in this photo, that's not just some kind of secret joke, you know, wedding thing. They might have, you know what, how do you know in that particular era of time that they just didn't say it was joke marriage? Because it wasn't socially acceptable for people to actually be in that kind of relationship. Just the outright erasure and by historians of how they write it from a certain perspective. Like the typical erasure in this situation was like, oh yeah, they weren't in a relationship together. It was just two friends. And how do you know that it was a joke? Like at that particular time, at that particular situation in time in history, that wasn't socially acceptable for people of the same sex to get married. But you just casually erase it because historically, how history books are written, history books, historians are usually from a cishet perspective, a cishet normative narrative, if you will. And they claim that's like the default. Like historians always have this default where it's like, yeah, they were just friends. No, they obviously, you know, weren't in that kind of relationship. I don't know what their husbands were at the time. And I mean, they do that with like a famous poet, I think it was Emily Dickinson, I believe, who I could be wrong, and during the editing process, if I am, I'll like put the edit on the screen if I was wrong, but I believe it was Emily Dickinson. She had a lover, and they're like, oh yeah, they were just really close friends. Are you fucking kidding me? They always write it from a cis heteronormative perspective because they refuse to acknowledge that LGBTQ people existed in the past, even though there's countless examples of it when you actually look at it. Like, yeah, there might not be a historical evidence that outright says that, but that's because it wasn't accepted or socially acceptable in that time. So you have to look at the context clues in order to look at it from this perspective. And when you look at the context clues, you're like, oh, yeah, it was obviously, you know, LGBTQ. That's what they were. It's like, oh, no, they weren't. Yes, Harold, they were. Fucking Christ. Let's just get back to the video. So this is an article from the New York Times, right, about whether animals can be gay, and apparently they're saying no, which is, oh my god. Like, one primatologist speculated that the real reason two male orangutans were filleting each other was nutritional. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that, you can't get nutrition from that. It's not a titty, my dude. But they're like, yeah, the orangutans, that primatologist, I'm pretty sure, was homophobic. And somebody posted this. It's a picture of Frog and Toad, and it says the OG lifelong roommates. Actually, interesting fact, the author, I believe, was gay. Somebody actually says that. Fun fact, the author of Frog and Toad, Arnold Lobel, was gay. His daughter, Adrian, had suggested that the friendship between the two characters was really a beginning of Lobel's own coming out, though the connection is not something Lobel publicly discussed. So, yeah. There you go. So that's interesting fact is, yes, they are the OG original roommates. Because that was actually, you know, later on that it came out that the author that created that, you know, was gay. So, yeah. This actually, I just thought y'all would find that very interesting if you would. So remember how I was talking about Emily Dickinson? I was correct. It was Emily Dickinson. But here you go. This person's like, I don't know. What could this poem possibly mean? And here's the poem by Emily Dickinson. To own a Susan of my own is of itself a blitz. Whatever realm I forfeit, Lord, continue me in this. And someone's like, what's your interpretation of this poem? Emily Dickinson Museum. What do you think the interpretation of this poem is? She literally wants a Susan of her own. She is a lesbian, or at least bisexual or pansexual. She likes women at least. Like, how do you not realize this? How do you not know that? And I'm pretty sure some of the people in the comment section are going to point this out. So let's scroll down to the comment section. Someone's like, I'm today 8 years old, realizing my high school English teacher, who gave me a book of her poems for graduation, clocked me as a gay over a decade before I did. Not me, as I reconsider my own past to present. This is amazing. I love your English teacher. And someone's like, she clearly wanted a rotating dinner table accessory. Well done. This is quality. And might I add, who among us doesn't? Because the rotating table, dinner table is called a Lazy Susan. So I get that joke. So yeah, that was a pretty good joke. Someone's like, Susan obviously stands for Sub-Saharan African Network. Yeah, she wants an open trading route that would boost trade among the regions, of course. Susan was actually a particularly delightful parakeet. And someone's like, another data proving the Emily Dickinson poem can be sung to the tune of the Yellow Rose of Texas. There are a few Emily Dickinson poems that use a different rhyme and meter, but those are the exceptions. Someone's like, Susan is an old-timey talk for a new kind of cleaning supply. She just wants to be a housewife. But yeah, like I said, is Emily Dickinson, like, in this poem, I don't know how the Emily Dickinson Museum doesn't get it. Like, she's like, to own a Susan of my own is of itself a bliss. Whatever realm I forfeit, Lord, continue me in this. Like, how do you not realize she wants Susan? And not in a friendly way. She wants Susan in that bedroom, honey. So everybody, that was the Reddit Sappho and her friend. Tell me in the comment section down below what you thought of any of this content in this video. I'd love to hear your feedback. And if you want to see more of this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified of future videos such as this one, such as Sappho and her friend, Are the Sis Okay, and other content like that where we react to those Reddits. So anyways, thank you for watching. I've been your host, Kai. Until next time, peace out.
I would like to begin with a poem in old-fashioned meter. Be good to us, and we'll be good to you. Be good to us,